So good morning, students. Let's proceed with where we had left off in yesterday's lecture. So a quick recap of what we had done in yesterday's lecture. In yesterday's lecture, we started off with expectations. Uh, Previous to that, we had done the CDF and the PDF for any random variable. Now, yesterday we started off with expectations, and in the expectations, we have the mean or the average, which we can find out, or what is known as a second order moment, and what is known as the variance. Okay, just hold on for a second. Okay, just a quick confirmation, the screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I thought okay, so with the expectations that we did yesterday, we had done the mean or the average value, what is known as the second order moment, and then the variance. I had explained you the meaning of mean through that graph which you are seeing on the screen. I had also told you that this is known as the first moment, uh, and around it is known as the first moment because it's a value in and around the actual value, right? So the actual let's say marks of students could be 70, but the average would come to about 60, right? So the mean gives us the in and around the actual value, right? And then we defined the mean as e of some value there. So if the random variable is x, then we define it as e of x. It is also known as mu x, and it is defined as an integral of x fx of x dx, right? Then we moved on to the second order moment, and it is defined as quantity which tells us how much we have deviated from the mean value, right? And that second order moment is given as e of x square, which is integral of x square fx of x dx, where fx of x is the PDF, right? So PDF plays an important role in finding all these expectations, right? And then lastly, we looked at the variance, through which we can also find the standard deviation, and we defined the variance as e of x minus mu x the whole square, and we derived that it has another equation, e of x square minus mu of x the whole square. So that derivation also you can see on the screen here. And then we looked at a case, a real-time case of using these expectations, so in the form of total power, which is the sum of AC and the DC power. So what happens if mean is 0? You get only the AC power, and what happens if the standard deviation or variance is 0? You get a purely DC signal and DC power, which is basically required for charging our various applications, right? And then we looked at some of the properties of the expectation. We still have to do the properties of the variance, that we'll be doing at a later stage, once it is actually required. And then we looked at a couple of numericals, right? So today let's solve few more numericals based on expectations, and then after that we'll move on to the next topic. Okay, so let's look at the first numerical for the day. So the numerical is it is given that e of x is 36.5 and e of x square is 1432.3. The question is, it's in two parts. A, find the standard deviation of x, and part B, if y equals 4x minus 500, find mu y and sigma y square, right? So we are given the the mean value of the random variable x, that is e of x, and we are given the second order moment of the random variable x, which is e of x square. What we need to find is two values. The first value is the standard deviation of random variable x, and in the second part we are given another random variable which is y related to the random variable x as 4x minus 500, and from that relation we need to find mean of the random variable y and the variance of the random variable y. Okay, so let's do the first part. So to find the standard deviation sigma x of random variable x, we need to find the variance. Once we find the variance, we can find the square root, and we can then proceed, right? So to find the variance, we use the standard equation which we had derived yesterday, which is e of x minus mu x the whole square, which we had derived as equal to e of x square minus mu x the whole square. So with that equation, sigma x square will be e of x square, which is given to us as 1432.3 minus mu x the whole square. We are given mu x. So that e of x, which is given to us as 36.5, this value here is nothing but mu x, right? So minus 36.5 the whole square, right? So it is as simple as that. So let us calculate this. So you get somewhere around 100.05, right? So I'm hoping that all of you are sitting with pen and paper and calculator and doing this. So please verify the answer with me, okay? Because I don't have the answer, I'm doing it with a calculator right now. Okay. So this is the variance of the random variable x which we have found. Therefore, the standard deviation sigma x is root of sigma x square, which will be root of 100.05, and that we get as somewhere around 10.00. So I hope this part was clear. It's simple, just using uh, the standard equation to find that relates the mean value, uh, the variance value with the second order moment and the mean value of the random variable. Okay, now let's pick the second part. So in the second part, we need to find the variance, the mean of the new random variable y and the variance of the new random variable y. So let me first write the relation between y and x. So y is 4x minus 500. So let me write that here. So the new random variable y is 4x minus 500, right? So first I need to find mu y. Mu y can also be written as e of y, and instead of y, now I'll substitute this as 4x minus 500, and since expectation is a linear operator, this becomes e of 4x minus e of 500. And we discussed yesterday that we find these expectations and variance for only the random variable and not for the constants. Therefore, the 4 in the bracket comes out, and you have e of x minus expectation of 500 is does not make sense because we are not calculating the expectation of a constant. Therefore, we just write it as 5. Therefore, we just write it as 500. Therefore, this equation becomes 4 e of x. Now, if I scroll up to the question, of x which is given to us is 36.5. So you have 4 into 36.5 minus 500 minus 500. Therefore, calculating this value, so we get negative 354. So if you're solving with me, please check that you get this value as some negative 354. Anyone getting that value, negative 354?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So I'm sure this is clear. This is simple. The next part is we need to find the variance, right? So finding the variance can become a little tricky because the equation is simple, but putting in the values, generally I've seen that students make mistakes there. So please be careful with all those square values that you have, right? So to find the variance of y, right? So I'll write this as variance of y, which is sigma y square, which is E of y minus mu y the whole square. Okay, now the first thing that we would like to do here, because in general we use the other type of equation to find the variance, so let me write that quickly. This we have already proved yesterday is also E of y square minus mu y the whole square, right? So you would like to use this equation, this second part of the equation, more often because it's much simpler. So we have already found the value of mu y, that is here, right? But we don't have E of y square, right? So many students would want to do this E of y square too, so that they can use this part of the equation, right? But don't make that mistake, in the sense that you do not have the value of E of y square and don't try to find E of y square in these kind of problems. Rather, you try and use this part of the equation, right? So let me write this and then you'll understand what I'm trying to say here. So we are given the relation between y and x as y equal to 4x minus 500. So this relation is already given to us, right? So if I have y minus mu y, right, because I have y minus mu y in this part, right? So this will just be 4x minus 500 minus mu y, which is minus 354, right? So once I do that value there, y minus mu y, you get as just check with me, 4x minus 146. You get 4x minus 146, right? So therefore now I can use this equation that sigma y square is E of y minus mu y the whole square. So you have E of y minus mu y the whole square, which is, I already have the value of y minus mu y in this box here. So you have E of 4x minus 146 the whole square, right? Now you can see that we have written that y in terms of x, and we are already given all the values of x. That means we have the mean value of x and we also have the second order moment of the x random variable, right? Therefore now sigma y square would become, now let's open the bracket inside the expectation. So you'll have E of so you'll have 4x square, which is 16x square, plus 146 square minus 2 into 4x into 146. Right? So just expanding it as a square plus b square minus 2ab. Right? So therefore sigma y square will be E of 16x square 146 So 146 square comes to, or let me just let me rewrite this equation. Hold on. Let me rewrite this equation. So we have expectation of all these factors. Now, since expectation is linear, let me write this as E of 16x square plus E of 146 square minus E of 2 into 4x into 146. Okay. Therefore, this becomes now E of 16x square. So 16 is a constant. So the 16 comes out. So you have E of 16, E of x square. You have E of x square plus E of 146 square is just going to be a constant. So it just turns out to be 146 square minus 2 into 4 into 146. All of this is a constant, so I'll get that out, and you have E of x, right, which is equal to 16 into, now if you look at the question, we are given the value of E of x square and E of x already, right? So E of x square is given to us as 1432.3. I'll substitute that, plus 146 square minus 2 into 4 into 146 into E of x, which is given to us as 36.5. Right? We have all the values, and now it is all about just calculating these values, right? So you get this as, so you have 16 into 1432.3 plus you get this 146 square as 21316 minus you get 1168 into 36.5. Therefore sigma y square, so you get somewhere around 1600.9. Just check if you get that value.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you may get 8 or 9. I've just done some kind of approximation there. Right? So I think this was a simple problem to do, right? Is anyone else also getting that answer? 1600.8 or 9, somewhere around there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
16 and 1.
Yeah, okay. So some approximation will be there, but in and around that value is good enough. Okay, okay, great. So there is one problem which I want to give you as a practice problem. So let me give that, and we'll check the answer. So let me call this numerical 2, but I'll not be solving it because it is similar like the problem which we have solved. So please solve this, and we can discuss the answer in the next lecture. Okay, so let me quickly give you the question. You can note down the question. So the question is, it is given that E of x is 13.5 and E of x square is 1578.6. Find A, sigma x, and B, E of w if w equals x square by 3. If w equals x square by 3. Okay, so this is your numerical 2. Please solve this, and we'll discuss the answer in the next lecture. Okay, I'll be solving it, but try to get the answer. So you need to find the standard deviation of x, and then you need to find the mean of w, given that w is x square by 3, right? So w is given in terms of the random variable x, whose values we know, in the sense the mean and the second order movement. Okay, So try this out and we'll discuss it tomorrow. Let us solve the next problem. I hope everyone has taken this problem, right? If you solve this, you will get a better idea. Okay. So now let us look at the expectations for discrete random variables. So for discrete random variables, we use the PMF rather than the PDF. So what do I mean by that? The expectation value, if the random variable is continuous, is given as integral x fx of x. However, for discrete random variable, fx of x is not valid. Rather, we use the PMF, that is px of x, right, which we had discussed. So let us look at problems on those types and see how they are different than the problems which we have solved, right? And for the PMF, which we have discussed already, you know that the problems will be given in the form of tables, right? So we need to get used to that. Okay, so let us solve one problem based on that. So the question is, given the following data, so the data which is given to us is this. Okay. So this is a similar problem which we had used while finding the CDF and PDF, while finding the PMF of a random variable. So I'm using the same numerical, but this time we need to find the mean value. Okay, so that we'll discuss now. Right. 0.2, 0.22 and 0.1. We are given the following data, and what we need to find is part A, sigma x square and mu x, and so we need to find that, and B, if y equals x square plus 2, find mu y and sigma y square. Okay, so I hope you have noted down the values in the table. Okay, so here I had already told you, and I repeat again. So this k here is more like serial number. Okay, it has nothing to do in the problem. It is just stating that there are 5 values. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Xk, these are the different points that you have, right? So these are the different points. So you'll have 1 point at 2.1, 3.2, then 4.8, and these are nothing but the probabilities, right? And if you add all these probabilities, the total probability P of xk has to be 1, right? It cannot be less than or greater than 1, right? So if you add all those values, 0.21, 0.18 and so on till 0.19, the total probability will turn out to be 1, right? So given that table, we need to find two parts. One is sigma x square, and then the other is mu x, and then another random variable y is given to us and with a relation with x, and we need to find its mean and variance. Okay, so let us first do the first part. So in general, you can note down the formula for expectation of random variable when the random variable is discrete. Okay, so for discrete RVs, that is for discrete random variables, So you have E of G of xi is summation I equal to 1 to some n, where n is the last point, G of xi into pi. Okay, so let me write quickly what we do in the continuous case. So in the continuous case, E of G of xi will be integral from minus to plus infinity G of xi into fx of x dx. Right? That is what we do in the continuous case, right? So if I want to make it much clearer than what we have done till now, then in the discrete case, E of x will be summation I equal to 1 to n x into pi. And if you compare this with the continuous case, in the continuous case, E of x is integral minus to plus infinity x fx of x dx. Right? So this fx of x here in the continuous case is just replaced with pi. Right? So we don't have the PDF factor in the discrete random variable, rather we have the total probability. Okay. So with that, I'll keep the equation on the screen so that for the first problem we can use it. So with that, let's try to find the mean value of the x, right? So we'll use this equation. Let me highlight which equation we are going to use. We are going to use this equation, right? Okay. So now you have the table with you. So can anyone tell me what will be the value of n? Can anyone tell me what will be the value of n for this numerical? Sorry? 5. It's going to be 5, because if you look at the table, k is given as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means we are going to do the experiment 5 times, right? So n is going to be 5. So let me rewrite that equation for E of x, right? For this particular problem. So you'll have I equal to 1. We are starting at 1 and we'll go till 5. And then you'll have each x. That means you'll have each x of I into the corresponding probability pi, right? So once you expand this summation, this is just going to be, let us put I as 1. So you'll have x1 p1 plus, because of the summation, let's put 2, you'll have x2 p2 plus x3 p3 plus x4 p4 plus x5 p5. Right? We stop at 5 because there are 5 values there, right? So now in this case, you have the table with you. So just see what I'm doing. So I'll take x1 p1, this factor here. So x1 is given to us as 2.1 and the corresponding probability is 0.21 plus I'll take x2 p2. X2 is given to us as 3.2. The corresponding probability is 0.18 plus, let me take x3 p3. x3 is given to us as 4.8 and the corresponding probability is 0.2 plus x4 p4. x4 is given to us as 5.4 and the corresponding probability is 0.22 plus x5 p5. Let me write this here. Will be we are given the point as 6.9 and the corresponding probability is 0.19. Right? This is what is your last point. So now we are just left with finding these, multiplying the factors and then finding the sum of each of those factors, and you'll get your mean value. Right? So let me calculate this. I hope you are also calculating with me.
So 4.47.
Yeah, I also get that much only. So I get 4.476. Is that what you get?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So it's very simple to calculate. Okay, the only thing where the students would be confused is that value of k, which is given on the left hand side. Just keep in mind that is just giving us the number of experiments we are doing. So it is almost like serial number. How many experiments you are doing? So in this case, we are doing 5, right? So this is what you do in discrete case. In the continuous case, we just do the integration. So it is integration is same as the summation value, right? So I hope this was clear. So now let's proceed with the variance part. So let us write the variance. So the variance of x can be written as sigma x square, which is e of. Now we are dealing with the discrete case. So yeah, instead of e of x minus mu x the whole square, you have e of xk minus mu x the whole square. This xk here, it denotes how many times you are doing the experiment because it is discrete case. So here we are doing 5 times, right? So since this is the expectation, the variance can be written as, now see what the difference is. You have I equal to 1 to 5, I equal to 1 to n, but n is 5 in this case, and you'll have xk minus mu x the whole square multiplied with the corresponding probability, right? Because in the continuous case, we write sigma x square as e of x minus mu x the whole square, right? Or we can write this as e of x square minus mu x the whole square, right? So we are using the top relation here, e of x minus mu x the whole square. That is the first part, and we multiply it with the corresponding probability, right? So let's see how we can find the variance. So sigma x square will be, now let me put the first value. So first value of I will be 1. So you'll have x1 minus mu x the whole square into corresponding probability, which is p1, plus second value x2 minus mu x the whole square into corresponding value p2. Okay. Just give me one moment. Okay, so I'm back. So we have x minus mu x the whole square, and into p1, then x2 minus mu x the whole square into p2, plus x3 minus mu x the whole square into p3, plus x4 minus mu x the whole square into p4, plus x5 minus mu x the whole square into p5, right? And we stop at 5 because we are having 5 values, right? So how do we calculate this? So sigma x square will be x1, the value of x1 given to us is 2.1, minus mu x. We had calculated mu x before this value, right? So mu x is nothing but 4.476, right? That is the value of e of x. So you'll have 4.476 whole square multiplied with the corresponding probability, which is 0.21. So this is the first value, plus x2, which is 3.2 minus 4.476 the whole square multiplied with the probability, which is 0.18, plus likewise you keep writing the values. So the third value is 4.8 minus 4.476 the whole square multiplied with 0.2 plus the fourth value given to us is 5.4 minus 4.476 the whole square multiplied with the corresponding probability 0.22 plus the last value, which is 6.9 minus 4.476 the whole square multiplied with 0.19. All you have to do is just find these values, right? So you can do the calculation and let me know what values you get. So I'll just give you a minute. Please let me know what values you get. What answer do you get? Anyone?
$26.9.
96. Just check again. 26. Check. Anyone else?
2.78.
Yeah, what I have is this much. 2.80. Yeah, approximately that much.
2.8.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Just check. Please don't make mistakes in this algebra part. Okay, you don't want to lose marks on this. Just check. Anyone else? Are you getting that value? Yeah, somewhere around 2.8. Okay. Okay, so we'll go with 2.8. Okay. So this is how we do it for we calculate the expectation and the variance values when we are given the PMF, the probability mass function. Okay. So I've seen in general students facing problem with PMF, but please have everything clear with you. We are just using a summation instead of the integration part there. Okay. So there is a second part to this problem. Let us do the second part tomorrow, and I also expect you to do this numerical 2, which is shown on the screen, which we'll be discussing tomorrow. The second part for this numerical is if we are given y as x square plus 2, we are supposed to find the mean and the variance values.